Ontario's Premier handing out Toronto Maple Leaf jerseys to other provinces' premiers may not seem like a unifying gesture, but leaders did come determined to find common ground.
I do want to thank the premiers for coming together.
As always with different governments, unity can be found around calls for Ottawa to transfer more money to the provinces, this time around a program called Fiscal Stabilization, federal aid to provinces hit with a sharp economic downturn. Alberta was hit hard during the oil crisis, but under the program, the aid was only a fraction of Alberta's total loss of revenues. With separatist discontent rising in Alberta and Saskatchewan, this was an opportunity for Jason Kenney to drive Alberta's interests at this gathering.
It basically gives us a little bit back of what we put into the Federation every year. But the fact that these colleagues have put a spotlight on one particular issue that means a lot to those of us going through periods of prolonged downturns, I think means a great deal to Albertans, and I just want to say thank you.
The makeup of the provincial governments aligned opposite Ottawa is nothing unusual. 20 years ago, a second-term Liberal Prime Minister faced provincial governments that were mostly Conservative in Ontario, Alberta and elsewhere, with the NDP in BC and a nationalistic government in Quebec.
In healthcare and in education.
And the message then, like now, was a call for transfers of power and money to the provinces.
Matters of revenue sharing between ourselves and Ottawa.
And so, 20 years later, premiers once again called for more federal money for health care to strengthen economic competitiveness and the fiscal stabilization changes that would help resource producers most, Alberta as well as Saskatchewan, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Thankfully for the premiers and the support that we have at this table today, working with the federal government, we will get a fund that's flexible, responsive.
It was a demonstration, said premiers, of national unity.
We may have our differences, but Canada is united. We're a united nation.
To be unified, the premiers kept their differences on issues like pipeline production off the agenda.
Our positions on pipelines, and we haven't discussed this subject.
If we don't sit down periodically, as we've done today, and come to unanimous positions on how we can mutually benefit each other, then we're going to continue to be frustrated and fractured.
That Ottawa is confronted by premiers largely made up of opposing political parties is nothing new. That has been the pattern for both Conservative and Liberal prime ministers in the past. The important thing for premiers here was to find a united front, so when they meet with the Prime Minister in the new year, they can be together on that.